What's going on? Welcome to Hollywire's Power Players, where we count down the top 5 celebrities dominating the headlines. I'm your host, Alex Schiffman.
And I'm Jay Korvitz. Let's get to the list.
Coming in at number 5, we have Mads Lewis. Breaking news as Mads Lewis is clapping back at TikToker Hannah Kosh for claiming that Mads copied Jaden on Instagram. As Mads commented on this TikTok, I have them both blocked, and I don't even see their stuff, nor do I care. Just a coincidence, y'all. Really try to make something out of everything, LOL. In this video, Hannah pointed out that Nessa Barrett recently posted on Instagram the text, "I know I don't belong here," and captioned this post, "One day I'll give you what you want and leave." Nessa's boyfriend, Jaden Hossler, commented on this post with, "You're everything I've wanted and more. I love you, precious." Then, just a day after Nessa's post and Jaden's comment, Jaden's ex, Mads Lewis, posted a photo of her and her boyfriend, Christian Pillard, aka the artist known as Severin, making a heart with the flames of their lighters. She captioned this shot, "You're everything I've ever wanted." Ooh, that is a lot to unpack, Jake.
Yeah, well, look, I think that there's a lot of symbolism in the lighter photo. I think that's the first thing we have to sort of unpack here.
Yeah.
Is that there's a fire burning between Mads and Severin, but then the question is there still a fire burning between Mads and Jaden? And is that why she used the same caption? And I'm not sure the answer to that, Alex.
Listen, I think we can believe Mads in saying that she, unfollowed both of them. I mean, who wants to follow both of their ex and their best friend in their feed, who in fact are now dating? There was a lot of toxicity and drama around that love square, so to speak, and it still hurts. Yeah. And I don't think anyone has fully moved on from it. When something like that happens, it's hard and it takes time to move on from it. So you don't want to see that in your daily feed as you're scrolling, right, Jay?
Absolutely. And those stories get really grating when you're trying to get over somebody. Not that I would know anything about that, but I can imagine for Mads, it really is a pain. And the thing is, though, yes, sure, maybe she unfollowed them, but did she block them? That's the real question, because she could still click over to their page. They're public pages, and not only are they public pages, but they run in the same circle as Mads. They'll show up on her Discover page, So can she really avoid not seeing these posts altogether? I'm skeptical.
Yeah, well, if she did in fact, unfollow and block them, then she wouldn't, but we don't have that answer or confirmation just yet. But I will say that Mads saying it's a coincidence could also be in fact true. I mean, that kind of saying, people in relationships say all the time to each other. It is the timing that I understand fans are making the comparison of. It is interesting timing, but it could be just a coincidence.
A coincidence that they both are getting everything they've ever wanted in a romantic partner, which isn't each other, at the exact same time and place and week.
Hey, people break up often and for many reasons, and you move on to new relationships and can be happy again. So yeah, there could be a chance that they both are happily in other relationships and doing well.
And as Severin has informed us many times now, Mads is lucky because she was with a child before, and now she's with a man.
Yes.
And that's Severin.
I mean, a lot of girls can relate to that sentiment of being once with a, so to speak, child, and now being with more a mature partner and moving on.
And if that's how Mads really truly feels, then she has no reason to be jealous, right?
Yeah, well, no, it is this TikToker, Hannah Kosh, who reports on this type of drama often, kind of bringing this to light. But Mads is shutting it down. She is saying it's a coincidence. Everyone's trying to make something out of nothing. I will say the timing is interesting. But again, like I said, people can be happy and often use this saying.
Yeah, something out of nothing.
Yes.
We wouldn't know anything about that, Alex. Let's move on to number 4. And at number 4, it's Camila Cabello. Camila Cabello is hot again as she recently began posting regularly to TikTok. The pop star quickly demonstrated that singing is not her only talent, as she racked up millions of views on some funny and relatable content that fans are loving. Highlights include a video in which Camila jokes about not being able to pass gas in front of boyfriend Shawn Mendes, as well as another in which she made fun of one of Shawn's TikToks by recreating it as a duet. But the biggest TikTok Camila made was one in which she created a dance for her new song, Don't Go Yet. The dance caused some fans to drag her in the comments, with some calling it cringe when artists try to create TikTok dances for their own songs. On top of that issue, Camila also faced backlash this week over a performance on The Tonight Show in which one of her backup dancers wore skin-darkening makeup, which some thought ran a little too close to blackface. Camila dismissed the controversy, saying that it wasn't anything like that. So it's a busy time in the Camila Cabello world. It always is, but things are really
And a controversial time.
And a controversial time, you know? I mean, first the TikTok, then the blackface allegations. It's
some heavy stuff, but I will say when it comes to the TikTok and her getting heat from kind of performing it in 3 times speed and kind of throwing it back to Musically, what's wrong with that? I mean, you know, that is where the app kind of started with these, you know, short videos and people dancing or singing, you know, along as it was back in Musically. But I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, as a user, you have a choice to put it at any speed you want. And if you click into the hashtag, many users did it at different speeds.
Yeah.
I don't blame Camila for trying to, you know, join the conversation like many artists have done and using this kind of UGC, user-generated content campaign to promote their song and keep it, you know, on everyone's feed. I think it's awesome that she's doing this.
And we have to remember that the important thing isn't the speed of the video. The important thing is the quality of the dance.
Yes.
And the quality of the dance was, as we would expect from her, phenomenal. And there's a reason so many people on TikTok are doing the dance now at whatever speed they feel comfortable at for their body, you know?
Right, and I absolutely love the song. I don't know because it's like the Olympics time, but I hear it playing at like an Olympics. Do you?
Yeah, it's a song for the world. You
It
know?
is.
It's a song that can bring the world together, like all of her best songs, I think.
And that's, you know, she has amazing music. That's why she continues to be a power player. But let's talk about her and Sean trolling each other.
Yeah, I mean, that content is great, and she did a farting video. Did you see it? Did you have a chance
I
to
did see. I reported on it earlier, and we've all been in that stage of a relationship, the honeymoon phase, where you kind of just don't talk about anything. You don't show your true self at times, and you're a little bit more reserved. So I thought it was amazing.
Although my fingers are crossed that they are past that point in the relationship at this. Yeah, I mean, they've been together for a while. Yeah. I hope that they're comfortable being their full selves, you know. Flatulence and all in front of one another, you know, that would be a healthy relationship.
And I think that they are. Of course, they've been together a long time, you know, during quarantine. They were living together. It's been going on for a while. They seem very much happy. We just saw them in New York together, and they're doing well, and I think they are past that stage. But it is funny and super relatable content to kind of see that all play out in a TikTok.
Absolutely, although I can't say I personally relate to it because I'm always comfortable passing gas.
But I love Sean trying to create a TikTok. I mean, that video, it was like watching your parents just join TikTok and create one, you know. He had like
crazy because he's a Viner. I mean, he's one of the OGs. So.
He is basically the star of, I mean, he is one of the biggest kind of artists to leave the platform and become mainstream. So that is funny, you know. Yeah. I didn't even think of that he's had practice in this.
Hopefully we'll see some improvement from Sean.
Yes.
Maybe he'll get on Camila's level soon.
Yeah, well, let's move on to our number 3 power player this week. It's Dixie D'Amelio. Dixie was our number 1 from last week, and she is back this week at number 3. Dixie has continued to find success for her new song Psycho, but the big story is what the song may be about. Rumors have been swirling for several weeks now about the track's origins, going all the way back to when Dixie posted an Instagram of her sister Charli with the song, in which Charli was making all sorts of funny faces, which many fans speculated was perhaps Charli making fun of Nessa Barrett, but more on that later. As for Dixie, she remained in the headlines after telling an interviewer that the inspiration for her hit new song came from a friend, recalling a story about a guy who would go into his girlfriend's phone and delete text messages behind her back. On the surface, this seemed to shut down speculation the track was about Dixie's former boyfriend, Griffin Johnson, or current boyfriend Noah Beck. But as distance has seemed to grow between Dixie and Noah in recent weeks, speculation that they are having relationship issues has continued to grow. So what do you think about all of this, Jake, and Dixie being our number 3 power player?
Well, I think regardless of what the background is, the important thing is that this is a great song. It's a great song to make TikToks to. It's a great song to listen to. It's a great song to dance to. And that's the important thing. Where the song came from is what it is. I mean, we know that the team behind Dixie are a bunch of inspired individuals. And again, the song, I think, really shows it.
Yeah, I mean, her kind of alluding to the fact that it's not about who we think it's all about, her former boyfriend, Griffin Johnson. And she basically laid it all out there. I don't know to distract us or what's going on, but like you said, the song is good. It's super relatable. I think many girls and guys can relate to turning into a psycho, being in love with someone, and just, doing anything to make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
Deleting text messages.
Absolutely. I mean, again, I can't relate to it. I would never turn into a psycho. But I understand that that's a common thing for a lot of people. And I think the other thing is that this is just the nature of any TikToker with everyone knows everything about their life. So any song they release, all this speculation is going to come to the surface. That's just kind of the way it works. And because, people are looking for tea. People want to know, Dixie, who is it that turns you to a psycho? Who are you talking about? And that's what we want to know. And that's what the world wants to know. But again, when we're not asking questions, we're dancing and making TikToks to the song. So
we are. And when it comes to her and her current relationship with Noah Beck, we reported on this earlier this week. I think everything is just fine. Doa shippers can all relax because there was this TikTok that went around where we just saw Noah's face and nails, and they were white nails. And then Dixie posted something else where she had brown nails in it. But we all know that social media, you can bank some content and post it later. Right, Jake?
Absolutely. I mean, I can understand why that would feed speculation.
Right.
But come on, you don't think that these people have hundreds of drafts?
Hundreds of drafts.
Maybe thousands. Maybe millions. For all I know, Dixie D'Amelio's Instagram, she has 1 million pending posts.
Yeah, and I mean, they were very vocal about kind of bringing their relationship offline. And then Noah started tweeting, Dixie publicly, I think to kind of hush everyone and say, hey, we're still cool. They seem very much in love, and I don't think he's turning Dixie into a psycho anytime soon.
We've seen, lots of TikToks of Noah and Dixie and Charli and the whole D'Amelio clan, and Noah feels like a part of their family at this point. It's hard to imagine that relationship not lasting for quite a while.
So do we think Griffin Johnson thinks it's about him? That's a good question.
I think Griffin Johnson thinks everything is about him, Alex. I think we got to move on to our number 2 power player.
All right, let's move on.
All right, at number 2, it's Addison Rae. Addison is in the news yet again this week as fans have continued to drag her over her acting skills ahead of the release of her debut film, He's All That, which will be coming to Netflix. First, a teaser was dropped for the film in which Addison's acting ability is only slightly explored, but this led some haters to question whether Addison should be starring in a film at all. Then things got worse for the TikTok star when an alleged crew member on the film posted a TikTok in which he recounted what a mess it was to work with Addison on the film. According to the TikTok post, it was Addison really struggled to remember her lines and would need countless takes on every shot, which caused a lot of frustration for the other cast and crew on the project. This is not shaping up to be the acting debut Addison was hoping for, as she has been dragged quite a bit, much like she was with her music release earlier this year. But just as with music, Addison has made clear she intends to stick with her goals as an actress. And that doesn't surprise me at all. One thing we know about Addison is she is a fighter.
She is a fighter, and she continues to be a power player in making our list for this exact reason. Hey, that's not something you want to hear. This is Addison's acting debut. We have to remember this is her first time on set, really kind of, taking the reins and joining this acting world. So we got to give her a little slack.
And, frankly, it is a bit shocking to some of us who have been fans of Addison for a long time.
Yeah.
I personally assumed she would be a natural.
So did I. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen her perform in her TikToks. She's an amazing dancer. She's a great performer in general, and she's a very likable person. So, to see that she isn't sort of really naturally gifted at this is a bit of a disappointment, but that just means she has to work harder at it, and I think she understands that.
And I think that's something she kind of faced with her music as well. There were a lot of mixed reviews. She got a lot of backlash for this music. You know, people didn't think that her singing abilities were up to par. So this is just another example of that. I think a lot of TikTokers or, you know, creators in general that kind of move on to a new industry face this type of backlash. You know, people are kind of betting on them to not do well naturally. And it's unfortunate that it's like that. I also think that it's not the best look for this extra who, you know, got this opportunity to be on set to kind of out Addison and, you know, use Addison's weakness to her advantage on the platform that Addison's killing it on.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, I hope that this person is remembered. And I hope that she's, you know, appropriately punished by Netflix for what she's done here against Addison.
Yeah, I mean, that is something, you know, when you enter a set, it's kind of the #1 rule, you know.
Respect the star of the movie.
Well, respect everyone, you know. A lot of times you have to sign an NDA and not really discuss what happens on set. There are things you can say. So, you know, this may, in fact, be bad for the extra herself.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, let's face what this looks like about this extra is that she is a clout chaser who is using Addison's good name to try to promote herself and trying to drag Addison. And that's not what we're about at Hollywire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still very excited to see the movie. You know, of course, it is a gender swapping remake. So that alone interests me. And then, of course, Addison making her acting debut. We followed her career. Like you said, she's a natural performer.
So the implication is that she will play a boy, right?
No, she is helping a boy kind of
pretend to be a girl?
No, she's helping a boy kind of become prom king. Have you seen She's All That?
She's All That. It's about, isn't it about a girl who pretends to be, it's with Amanda Bynes, right?
Yes, but you know what? We're going to wait till this premieres to actually know how this movie plays out. We don't know anything about the script, but what we do know is Addison continues to be a power player. She's probably going to make the list next week, right?
Maybe that crew member, you know, could illuminate us on the details of the plot as well. That would be useful. Not just Addison's
That would be
acting.
great. But let's move on to our #1 power player of this week, who's really a power player all the time. It's Miss Charli D'Amelio. Because Charli stirred some controversy after a viral TikTok showed her making silly faces and pretending to take selfies at a restaurant while Dixie's new song Psycho played. Of course, both Dixie and Charli have posted numerous TikToks using the song, usually just using the song's chorus, which sings, "You turn me to a psycho," to make fun of each other. But here the punchlines seem more ambiguous, which led some fans to speculate that Charli was in fact making fun of Nessa Barrett, who you may recall famously kissed Chase, little Huddy Hudson, during the period of time little Huddy was attempting to win Charli back. Charli and Chase are still on good terms and seem to be close friends, but it's easy to imagine Charli would still have issues with Nessa, as so many TikTokers seem to. But that wasn't the only Charli news this week, as it was also discovered that her secret TikTok account, which features no profile picture, a made-up username, and never being promoted by any of her other accounts, has accumulated over 12 million followers. It's a remarkable achievement for Charli and shows how much the TikTok user base loves her and will manage to find her just about no matter what she does. But the popularity of this account is maybe the reason Charli hasn't posted on it in several months, as it was likely created just so Charli could lay low and have less pressure on her TikTok posts than normal. It's a lot there.
Yeah. Well, I think we have two stories here. You know? We have the story about, is Charli subtly making fun of Nessa, which is an out-of-character thing for Charli to do. That's
Very
why I
much
think
so.
it's so subtle, and why it might just be a whole lot of nothing, you know, it might just be speculation.
Yes.
Because, I mean, look, Nessa's not the only one who makes TikToks where she makes weird faces like that Charli's making fun of, right?
Very true.
Lots and lots of people do. So it could have been anybody. You know, it could have just been some random person on TikTok that she was making fun of. But obviously because of their history, people are going to speculate about that. But the thing about Charli is she's so, you know, confident, so self-assured about her role as, again, the #1 TikToker in the world that, I don't know, she never comes off as very petty compared to some other TikTokers.
Yeah, I think, you know, just like you said, it's not necessarily Charli's character to do something like this. She is a very sweet girl. She kind of stays out of the drama. Unfortunately, there is that narrative between, little Huddy and Nessa, and it did hurt Charli, but it seems like everyone's kind of moved forward on that. Charli seems super mature for her age, and like you said, this would be out of character. And Nessa is not the only person to make those kinds of silly faces on TikTok, but naturally, people love to kind of make these comparisons and put, two people against each other, but I don't think there's anything about this.
No. I think it's just one random TikTok post, and like you said, Charli is mature beyond her years.
Yes.
I mean, you could easily believe she's 23, okay, but she's actually only 17. But she just carries herself that way, and again, she's gifted at what she does. And compared to like Addison, we're talking about, who's trying to spread herself thin, doing all these different things, Charli is good at what she does, which is be a TikToker and be a dancer. And now she has a reality show coming out in about a month, and she's on top of the world for a reason. She's the #1 power player for a reason, and it's not because of Nessa Barrett or anything to do with that.
No, she is so powerful. I mean, let's get to the other part of this story, that she created a fake TikTok with no profile photo, nothing to kind of relate it back to Charli, and her fans still found it. 12 million followers.
I think it just goes to show, as we know, Charli is a genius of TikTok. And the other thing is that she has some magical quality that if her face appears on people's TikTok screens, they just follow. They click follow. It's like they're entranced, That's how I felt when I first followed her.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of creators that are super popular feel this pressure to kind of do everything right. A lot of times brands are attached to their account and paying them to post certain posts. So it's a lot of pressure, especially for someone as young as Charli, to kind of, just be perfect all the time, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I understand why she created
But
but
Alex?
it is the power of the D'Amelios.
She does a good job of seeming like she's perfect all the time. I'll give her that.
She does. Well, those are our power players this week. Make sure you tune in next week to see who makes the list. Of course, I'm your host, Alex Schiffman.
And I'm Jay Korvitz. Make sure you follow Hollywire for your 24/7 celebrity news.